Warning, what you're about to hear was intended to make you laugh. A lot. If you listen to the show and feel inspired, then that's awesome. But if you're easily offended or just can't take a joke, you should turn this off right now. Otherwise, turn this shit up and hang on. Welcome to the Get Up.
It's like this overcharging spirit that creates challenges. It's like this energy is like discovering my passion.
All right, well, welcome to the Get Up. I'm your host, JP. Today, with me, providing the opening music that you're listening to right now. I love the guitar. Is Kim. And Kim, you go by, or your music name is Tetra Music Project, right?
That's correct.
All right.
What's up, Tetra in the house, y'all? Hey, how's it going?
Awesome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good.
Doing good?
Feeling good, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I love the guitar. So, first of all, what you got to plug? All your stuff. You got a website, all the...
Yeah. Basically, I would check out www.tetramusicproject.com. You can pretty much find whatever site you're looking for, like, through there. Just check into the home base and then, like, find your SoundCloud, find your Spotify. I'm on all the streaming services, so whether you use, like, Apple Music or Deezer or whatever, I should be on there. If you can't find it, just search Tetra Music Project. It's usually a good place to go.
All right. So, now I'll intro how I came to know you. DMTV. I was doing the appearance there, and that was a night that you were there.
Right.
And it was really cool because besides like having your music setup, which looked more like traditional DJ setup, and then just jamming out to your guitar and those bluesy riffs and stuff.
Yeah.
And like the vocals are nice and just kind of, I'm trying to. It's relaxing, but it's just like kind of floating almost like vocals.
Yeah.
But it was really sweet to see you up there just kind of jamming on your guitar, just feeling the music, and that was really cool. And so then we talked, and it's just crazy. So explain the name first, because I want to know where the Tetra came from and why you decided to go with like a music project as the name instead of like an artist.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Good question. I honestly, I've been doing music for my whole life. I've been in different bands and stuff like that. Basically, I became interested in electronic music and like performances and shows and like presentation of like, musical energy. And I was like, man, like this would be really fun. I was like, I feel like I could do this, something I could do. And I kind of like thought about it for a while, and the name Tetra kind of came to me. I was sort of learning about like sacred geometrical shapes at the time.
Okay.
And so it kind of like stemmed from like the tetrahedron, which is like the one I kind of like, I don't know, I really resonate with that one, I guess. And Tetra, I mean, it's a root word, so I really like that. It's in a lot of different words, and Tetra, I think by itself means four. So I was kind of thinking about like what like my 4 points would be if I had 4 points. So it would be like, music production, guitar, singing, and I don't know, the other one is like my little like chaos later thing that I do. It's just kind of like effects and like,
Okay.
I don't know, it's just like,
Right.
so it kind of like encompasses everything I do in that. And then the music project thing, like, it's just kind of a way to like differentiate myself, so people kind of like know that that's like my specific name. Because when you say Tetra, like, it might be like something that you could just forget the word by itself.
Right.
You might like look up. There's a couple other Tetras out there, so you might look up Tetra and not know which one it is. So
Okay.
the music project really like defines that one as like that's my thing.
Right. Okay. No, and it was just interesting, because it's on a different episode we talked about music and the way things have changed, and one of the things that someone brought up was it's no longer albums, everything's a project, and then it was really interesting to see someone that actually incorporate that. And does it the name when you say project, because that kind of like invokes a feeling that ever changing kind of could be evolving. It's not like a defined thing. Is that something that like applies?
Yeah, totally. And I think it kind of does a good job of like encompassing all of the different arts that are involved with the music project. So along with like making the music, which is obviously the main focus, I do a lot of the other art too. So like do some photography, and then like that's how I put my album art together, kind of like blend pictures. So it encompasses like the visual art that I create with it. And then like anything else that like, I don't know, I just clip together like a music video. So like I do a little bit of video editing and stuff like that.
Okay.
So when I have like some good camera footage, I'll maybe like do a promo on a new song and like clip some videos together. So it's just sort of like, yeah, it's like I sort of like am the creative mastermind behind like all of the art behind the project. And sometimes I need help with things, obviously, like, you know, hiring videographers and stuff like that.
Right.
But
Yeah, you can't
I
shoot
try to
video
like,
and perform at
I
the
try
same
to
time.
like do as much of it as I can by myself.
That's awesome. So what got you into music? Like, where did that come from?
I don't know.
And you said like you've been in a couple bands and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I've always been into music. So I've been playing guitar since I was 10, so 20 years. And just like, I don't know, I saw one and I touched it for the first time and I was just like, I need that. I definitely need that. And I've just been doing guitar and like playing. I used to play in like bands and like play around like different.
Now, what kind of music were you playing then?
I would do, honestly, I was really into like singer-songwriter and like acoustic guitar. And I would do like a lot of like worship leading around different churches in the area, actually. It's kind of how I got my start, and just like playing with, you know, friends who also play guitar and like showed me things. I didn't do great in lessons, so I just kind of like did learning on my own thing after that. But I've always been writing songs and like really interested in listening to music, and like I'm really good at like remembering like song names and artist names. So I'm kind of like musical library. I like absorb a lot of the different like things, and then just sort of like rearrange parts that I like and kind of create my own thing with it. So my music is really like a reflection of a lot of the music that I listen to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what led you to? Now, how would you classify it? Because, I mean, you could say it's electronic music or electronic dance music, depending on...
So lately I've been describing it as like alternative electronic dance.
Okay.
It sort of has like a groovy vibe, but, you know, like nice upbeat, like house vibes. You can dance to it, or you can kind of just chill and listen. So it's kind of hard to classify because I play a lot of different styles. So maybe like a chill wave, kind of ambient, or like it's really definitely like melodic, very like.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Very, very relaxing. Kind of. I mean, it's very chill.
Definitely. I like to, you know, like put it on in the car, or like, you know, put it on. In the car is a good place.
Now, just settling on this music, is this what you just sort of gravitated to? Or, I mean, there's a lot of different styles. That always interests me. So like I had another band. It was funny. They played, like, the two guitar players. I was waiting for you to say it, but you didn't. But their major influence on why they started playing guitar was Guitar Hero.
Oh, really?
And I was like, I wonder if they know they inspired a generation of musicians through a video game. But cool. Like they did like the scream kind of rock, and you know, that's an interesting style to pick. But you know, it's just what resonated with them and everything. And it's curious to me, like, what gets people to pick those. The style of music they go to, like yodeling. I don't know.
I mean, it's not really something I pick. It just kind of comes out that way.
Just comes out that way?
It's just like, I try to like channel energy, really. I'm channeling like a feeling and sort of putting that together. And a lot of my music, I try to write it like relatively like close in time. I try not to spend like a whole, I mean, sometimes you take a little bit longer to work on something, but I try to like get the whole idea and the vibe of the song down in maybe like one session or one or 2 days, you know,
while
that
it's
way
there,
I'm like
right?
really still in
fresh.
really still in that vibe and really still in that energy. And that's like the best way to kind of like get the whole feeling in there. And then lyrics are always tricky. I have to really be feeling inspired to like settle on some lyrics. I'm super picky about that.
Okay.
So I just sort of take from like what I'm feeling, experiences or situations, something, and just kind of like I think of kind of like a hook, and just kind of go from there. And sometimes the lyrics are just the hook, and I'll kind of like rearrange and use it as like a sample, which I really like to do. I think that's fun. This song is a good example of that.
Yeah, very, very chill. It's something you can definitely just put on, so people would listen to this and want to know, especially like eating, like you just alcohol, weed.
Yeah.
I mean, do you find it easier to, do you, first of all, any
extracurricular?
Yeah, extracurricular.
I mean, I think it's good to like explore your interests and you know, like, really, I think it comes down to mental health. So you don't do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
But certainly like experience what you feel like is right for yourself. So I used to smoke weed a lot, and it's funny because now it's like legal here, and I like just grew out of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I don't even smoke anymore. But it's all good, and I certainly enjoy the aroma, and I enjoy being around it. It's not a big deal. And I think, yeah, some of my songs kind of like throw out to that, like some of my older
That
music.
vibe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, like there's been times where I've been under the influence and had some of my most creative stuff. Like I've sat down and drawn some of the best stuff. Or I used to, like when I would DJ and put together a mix or something, like I'd be like, man, that transition was great. Oh man, it was on point. Like,
Yeah, for
so just curious.
Yeah. No, I mean, when I'm like, when I'm playing live, certainly, and usually when I'm writing the music, I have to be pretty clear-minded. Yeah, it's a lot to focus on.
Now, what kind of equipment do you use? So I know you had the guitar.
Yeah, so it's kind of like two different setups, right? So there's my studio setup when I'm writing, creating new stuff, and like working on the music, and then there's the live setup. So like in my studio, I have a desktop computer, and everything's kind of plugged into that, like a MIDI controller goes through my software. I use mainly Logic, but I just got Ableton, so I'm gonna try and like maybe incorporate both of those. And then yeah, so I have like a guitar, obviously, and I plug that into like it's like an amp. It's a guitar pedal, like amp simulator, so I don't really use an amp, but I have like a lot of different settings that I can program. So I program my amp to like, basically there's a catalog of like different sounds that go run through my guitar, and it's like per song. So I like each song has its own little like setting. And then I run a microphone through it's called a K-oscillator. And it's basically like a little digital like screen, XY pad screen, touch screen that does a ton of different things.
Yeah, those chaos pads and stuff.
They're really cool. They're super cool, and they do looping. I don't do a ton with the live looping because it gets kind of hard to control. But like I use the vocoder settings a lot to give my microphone some like echo and have some control over that feature while I'm playing live. So that's cool. And then when I'm playing live, I mix things with like a controller, like a deck controller.
Right.
It's just like a Pioneer, this like SB2 or whatever. And it's just mixing in Serato, and I kind of mix the tracks together and transition them, and then just like play the parts over them. And that's the fun part, because it's like I can just kind of throw those parts in there wherever they feel right at that time. So
and that's like what it felt like a little bit. Like you had this music production part that you did, and then now you're just like, all right, now I'm just gonna jam out to the shit that I put together so I can jam out. Like that's what and that was what was kind of cool, because you don't really see something like that where it's like, it's always sticking strict to the song, and there might be notes that you're hitting, but it just felt like it was totally organic at the time. Like when I saw you perform, it didn't feel like, this is the part that goes right here. I'm playing, like it just felt like you were just up there fucking jamming, eyes closed, Well,
that's fun, because that's kind of like the remixing part that I do. That's like the part that I get to, have the control over. So the tracks are going to be played basically the same time, and I'm hearing like same cues and stuff like that, so I know where I am in the song, and then I just sort of like go with the flow and change things up and get new ideas, and kind of that's the fun part. I get to like mix it up every time. So nobody can really play my music like that, and every show is like completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing the Tetra music project?
I think this is my fifth year. Okay. Yeah. Started.
Business cards are sweet.
Oh, thank you.
do you see that dying? Do you see people not having business cards and stuff as much anymore? I mean, I got some for this because it's just easy to have a lot of information.
I think business cards are getting cooler. I think they're getting way cooler.
There are some sweet ones.
Like mine are soft. You can get like different textures. I've seen some really cool like holographic ones.
Plastic ones. No, they're square. They're all different shapes.
I think business cards.
And they're not too bad to get. I mean, geez, I think I got like 600 for like $10 or something.
I think they're good. I got all my links on there, and it's like you're talking to somebody about your music, and then you're just like, here you go.
Right. Well, and that was why I got them. So like if I'm out and I see someone that I'm like, oh shit, I want to talk to this person. Bam, here you go. It's got everything on it. Look it up. It's legit. I'm not some kind of creeper. Like you can go and listen to multiple episodes. It does make you look more legit when you have a business card. But like you can go to the site. Like that's one of the. I had another guest come on, and their tequila is doing really good. Teak Tequila. It's based out of Detroit, but it's from Mexico, 100% agave, all that stuff. But it's really good too. Nice. But he's doing good all over the place, and that was one of the I had originally invited him to come on, was kind of like, you're actually doing something. You're not trying to get me to help you start something.
Right.
I'll come on your show just because you're already doing it. You're not like relying on me, which was kind of cool. But like. yeah, it's weird. You know, like you tell someone you're a musician. Lots of people are musicians. I was like, for me, I was like, yeah, I got a podcast. I'm not some just creep like in my basement. I mean, I am in the basement, not a creep. But you know,
Yeah, but you're doing a thing.
for now.
You got
I plan
equipment down here.
Plan
so-
on rooming this out. You know, making this a room and
Yeah.
making it a little more official. Eventually.
Well, and that's good. I think it's good to at least try something and focus on get something to a point where you're at least trying and putting it out there. You know, like I think people get really caught up on like the having to need everything to be like perfect right when they start. And it's kind of just like you gotta just try it and see where it goes and see where it
Ever get
flows.
any nerves going to perform?
Certain shows, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
usually not. Usually not. Like usually I'm like feeling really good and really excited. But if it's like if it's like a big deal, I'll get like
Where have you played?
I think my biggest show that I played to date was I played at the Magic Stick. I opened for Closey on April 26th.
Okay.
So that was really cool, really awesome opportunity, and my first like time playing at the Magic Stick. So I played on the patio, and it was super awesome. And then that was actually the show that I hired the videographer for.
Oh.
And I just put the recap music video together, and yeah, it turned out really good. So.
Is there anything that we can see or no?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I just put it out on Tuesday. And it's like it's just like quick little 4 minute like recap with that intro song that I sent to you and put that on there and just kind of like so if you just search yeah
Bam.
yeah it's the first one.
This one right here.
So
Probably gonna have a commercial. They just stick commercials everywhere. Nope. Cool.
yeah mine should be good. Yeah, so you know.
Now, did you do all the editing, all that stuff too? Just had someone shoot it and then you put it all together?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got the footage from him and kind of put it together and had to figure out how to like adjust the lighting a little bit because he like the way he recorded it and the way he gave it to me. He's like, oh, you need to like do some. I had to like learn how to like balance the lighting a little bit. But that was cool. But it's kind of like clipped it together. He did a great job. Got some really nice footage and there was like just enough like other stuff to
Right.
mix in there like flow toys, and it's great because like I love this video because all these people in the crowd are like my good friends, you know, like
Okay.
it's like all my like support team, and it's nice to have like a music video for me but also like everybody else that's in there too. I just watch it and I get so happy. I'm just like, oh, there's my friend, oh, my good friend. So it's really nice to just have this be like a commemorative like thing from that event too, because like it was a pretty big show for me.
Good. Went off good.
Yeah, it went great.
How do you like?
I got an encore actually.
Really?
That was my first encore.
All
It was
right.
really awesome.
All right.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's sweet. Now, do you see? How do you? Well, one is this. I mean, besides being creative, are you like generating any sort of income off of this at all? Because some people have swag and stuff out there.
Yeah, no, a little bit. I obviously don't really do it for the money.
Well,
Cause,
right.
I get like, I don't know, the YouTube, like I'm not making anything off this. Like they do ads and stuff, but I'm just
Yeah.
putting it out there to get like, you know, people to like understand what my project is and stuff like that. The streaming services give me like a little bit of royalties. It's pretty small.
Pretty small.
And there's another subscription-based one that I do called Patreon. Basically, you can subscribe and be like a monthly subscriber to me, and you get like exclusive content through that page.
Really? Okay.
And then that's like, yeah, so those people pay like a little bit every month, and that's actually a pretty nice chunk of change.
Really?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, you have to kind of like maintain that and like, you know, make sure that people are like, I mean, I have to like remember to like put stuff up there because like those people are paying me every month. They want to like, you know, have like some kind of interaction
content,
with
right,
it.
yeah.
So I put like previews, sneak previews, special pictures, or just like certain mixes you can only get on my Patreon page.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the full, maybe not this set. No, is the full set from my Sacred Vibration set last year. I just put that up on my Patreon page for my subscribers. So that's like kind of like nice exclusive content for them. Try to like maintain that a little bit.
So is this a side passion? Do you have a day job,
no.
or
Well,
is this full time?
This is hopefully gonna be the full time. I do it. This is like real time. This is like my real time project.
It's
Like,
your real time.
during the day, I do exchange time for a paycheck. I'm a fucking really good barista.
There you go.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm a badass. I'm like the best barista. So I do my thing, you know, sling smoothies and stuff during the day.
No shame, huh?
Working on them mixes, you know. But it's actually cool because while I'm at work, I get to like play music while I'm
Right.
there. So I still get to curate an environment and almost like be DJing while I'm at work. So it makes it like pretty okay.
Pretty okay.
And then
Makes
come
it bearable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's actually pretty fun. It's fun. It's just funny the conversations I have with people, and like I've been working there for a while, so people are kind of always wondering like, what else do you do? And I'm like, oh well, I'm a musician, and then you go and you just talk about it. It's cool. I like keep some CDs that are at the counter and my business cards on there, and people are always like, what's this Tetra thing? I'm like,
Right.
oh well.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, and sell a lot of CDs there actually. And
Really?
a
That's
bunch of my
awesome.
like morning regular coffee guys are like really excited for my new album.
Okay, cool. And that's got to feel good, right? To have like that buzz. And
Yeah.
so like, and that was one of the things, especially now, like we're 6 years, in age. I think from what you described, I'm 36.
Yeah, I just turned 30.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No, but so like the way things have changed as far as like promotion, self promotion, stuff like that. Before it was like what you're doing now with the CDs and stuff out. You just kind of always had some of those on deck. But the social media game has changed stuff, and that's why I was wondering when I said like, is it the full time thing? Because having the Patreon page sounds like that's okay. That's work. I got to do that constantly. So how much time do you find yourself devoting to this and like advertising it to get it out, to get people out there to follow your music and experience?
Yeah, marketing is a huge side of the project too. The fun part is making music. The business side of it is, marketing, putting things together, promotions, and I do like a lot of like event promotions flyers, and I'll put like a little flyer together if I'm doing like a performance just to have like my own little promotion kind
Right.
of branding, I guess you
Okay.
could say. And I do put like a lot of time into that when I can. I have, when I launch my album, I have to like update my whole website and like update all the art and stuff associated with my pages. So there's like fresh banners, with the album art on my Bandcamp page and on my website. Like everything kind of has to launch at the same time.
Okay.
So it does take a lot of planning. You got to get that stuff ready and like updating like your SoundCloud. You want to like take some older stuff. I have to like take older stuff off so I can put newer stuff on there.
SoundCloud. So
Yeah.
that drives me crazy. Like free SoundCloud. I was able to put like 2 episodes up,
Yeah,
and then it's like,
full.
yeah, it's full.
Yeah. So I pay for like a premium subscription, but I still only get like 3 hours of space. Like, what the
Really?
heck? Yeah.
So like
No,
with
I
the
could be
pod,
paying more and get like an unlimited thing, but then it's like, but I'm not really gonna be making money off SoundCloud,
Right.
so I can't justify paying that much for it right now.
I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Like I'm already paying one subscription for the site that's hosting everything.
Yeah.
And like the Podbean is what I use, and everything. When I post an episode, it created a YouTube channel for me that it posts to. It sends it to Spotify, right? Like it does
nice.
the RSS feed, so
Yeah.
it updates everywhere. But it creates all these extra little things too that I don't have to do. It sends it
nice.
already to Twitter. So it's nice because it's got all that integration. I think it sends it to Facebook as well, like right away.
That is
so
good.
it's cool how that ties in. But then I
See,
couldn't justify
that's
paying.
like a service that you really need. Like SoundCloud isn't really providing you much services other than putting some music up.
Right.
That's like a service. Like people, you're getting like stuff from that.
So, but
Yeah.
for this, I pay less than I would have paid for SoundCloud, and I get unlimited storage.
Nice.
It does all that. It gives me all the metrics and everything, and all that stuff. And I was like, I
Yeah.
can't pay extra for SoundCloud too.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So I was like, two
Yeah,
episodes
you
up
gotta
there, and
pick
I really
choose.
haven't
It's
updated
like, do I
it
pay
since.
for my website or do I pay for my SoundCloud? Website.
And that's what I did. Like I bought the domain name, and I just
Yeah.
redirect it to the hosting site
Nice.
because they let you create a page there, so it just redirects. But
That's good. Yeah. No, it's nice. There's a lot of like services and resources out there for people trying to do stuff like that. You just gotta like find one that works for you. And yeah, you can't like pay for premium subscriptions to everything. You have to pick and choose. I mean, when you're first getting started, it's like I gotta manage that side of
Right.
it too. Yeah.
how do you like the controllers? Working with the controllers, did you ever use vinyl, or did you start off on controllers?
No, I've never really used. I'm like just starting to learn how to use CDJs. I understand the theory. I just need to like practice on it a little bit more. And it's super fun. It's interesting. I love DJing. I'd love to get better at it. The controller is just, it made sense to me in terms of like transitioning, and it's nice because I have all my music there on my computer, and I can, I like that controller because I can mix the tracks together without putting headphones on. I can actually
Right.
see them, so I can like line them up with my eyes instead of having to like take a second, put headphones on and mix it. It saves me a lot of time just having it on a controller, setting up like hotkeys and stuff like that. It's easy for me to understand, and then I can also like send like a specific like vocal stem or something into
Right.
there and have like cool like effects like triggering like launching samples
And you said
live.
you're using Serato with that?
Yep. So if I have a track with some vocals on it, I can like export just the vocal track, set up some hotkeys, and then like remix the sampling that I do live.
Alright.
That's been like a fun new like addition to my project within like the last like year or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah, I got a controller
But
over
it's
there.
tricky because like I'm doing everything like a lot of people run stuff through Ableton and it
Right.
kind of like lines everything up for you on the beat. Like I'm doing everything like manually by ear, so it's like you have to have your timing be really sharp
Right.
when you're doing
Well, like
it
you said, I
like
mean,
that.
it turns into your performance is different every time because
Right.
it's not just like you're going up there and you're like, all right, here's
Pushing
the
the
track,
buttons, yeah.
here's a track, play on
Bunch,
that,
bunch,
and then I'm
bunch.
just gonna play guitar.
Right.
Like I've seen you up there.
There's
Okay, you're bringing everything in and you're moving it around. You start playing with your
And if you like quote unquote mess up or miss a cue or something, you kind of have to like be creative and like rearrange something like on the
Right.
fly, and it's just like, well, we'll see how this goes. So
Okay.
yeah.
So what's next? So what have you done so far? So is this the second album that you created?
No, actually, it's my fifth.
Whoa, holy
Yeah,
crap.
it's my fifth studio album. Yeah, it's coming out August 1st. I'm really excited. I've been putting it together for a while. It has a lot of life tracks in there from just like a huge like chunk of my life. Well, in my opinion, it's a long time because it's like 2 years, and that's like a pretty long time for me to be focusing on one project.
One thing, right?
Yeah. It came together really well. I kind of like wanted to, I had to put the project together. I had to put the album together and really like focus on like trying to finish that project so I could kind of move on. Wanted to put those songs together and like kind of like a collection, just kind of like remember that moment of my life and that period. But also like I have this like question I always ask myself, like if I don't release this song on an album now, like do you think it'll ever get out there? And that's always
Right.
kind of like a big thing for me. Like, well, if I have like 8 or 10 new songs, I should probably think about like wrapping it all up together
Right.
and like putting that out so it actually does get out there.
Do you have those unheard of songs that are just kind of sitting
A
there?
couple, yeah. There's
Yeah.
a couple songs that never really made it through. But then, see, it's fun because even if the track is done, but I didn't really have enough time to like write some guitar parts on it or whatever, I still throw those in if I'm doing like a DJ set, which is fun because then that's just kind of like me with my deck and I'm remixing my music without the guitar and stuff. So it's a
Right.
little bit like different, and I can actually play those songs, those different musics that you wouldn't normally hear during a live set because they don't have a live component to them. So that's fun too. But yeah, there are some secret Tetra songs.
Some secret Tetra
There
songs.
are, yeah, they're out there for sure.
But that's cool. So they're just kind of like, you got this back. I'm going to throw a little something that they haven't heard before.
Yeah.
Mix it in. And
It's fun, yeah. It mixes. I literally have a ton of music. Like I don't know. I was trying to figure out like how long I could actually just like play a set for, and I've done like 2, 3, 4 hour sets before, and just played all my original stuff, and never really like played something twice. So it feels good.
so how long does it take you to work out a song, generally?
Like a whole song from start to finish, and it just depends. Like the production doesn't really take that long. The production maybe I can focus on that in like a week usually. But sometimes the guitar, like playing guitar, I just have to be like in a really good like mood to channel the energy that I want to like fit on that song. But I do love playing guitar, and it always puts me in a better mood. So sometimes it's like the melodies that I'm writing were like me needing to like transform my energy from like negative to positive, and
Okay.
that's kind of like the
That was like
reflection
what
and,
gets you there.
yeah. And so like my music, I feel like it's very uplifting because I've had to change my vibes from low to high before, and I kind of just like figured out how to do that like on my own for myself, and like creating music that makes me feel better, and then that makes me like want to share it with other people because I'm like, well, maybe this will help you feel better too. Like, so just trying to have like good vibes, and the reflection of my project is a reflection of like me and my message and stuff like that. So I try to keep it really positive and like uplifting.
How long do your sets usually go when you play out?
Usually get booked for like an hour.
Yeah.
Hour and a half is fun. You get a little bit more time to like work in some vibes. An hour is like I gotta play all my like Tetra bangers, so people like those staples, those staples that people will like recognize me by.
Right.
But like the more time you get, the more like rare songs you can put in there. I think like songs that I don't play.
What's the
a lot.
longest you ever did?
The longest set? probably like 2.5 hours.
Get tired doing that?
Yeah, it's very tiring, but
it hurt my
it's
legs
exhausting
standing.
actually. But it's like a really good feeling. It's funny because like I was saying about, when I had to like pull my equipment around to electric forests, and like I was exhausted, and I had to pull this like heavy wagon full of my equipment for like an hour over to this spot. I'm like, man, how am I gonna play a set now? But then like that like passion and love for it just kind of like gives you the energy.
Get
to,
it
like,
all set
just
up.
Do it.
How long does it take you to set up?
Oh, not that long. I can probably set up in like 15, 20
God,
minutes.
things are so much easier. When I used to have
It looks like a lot of
actual
equipment.
records.
When I'm carrying it around, it does look like a lot, but it's like, it's pretty simple.
Pretty simple, yeah. That was, I always hated that when I had actual turntables and not a controller, because rebalancing the tone arms and cleaning the needles and cleaning the records off,
Man. A lot of maintenance.
Yeah, there was a lot of setup and stuff, and making sure everything was reading right. And because I rolled with Tractor and Final Scratch and stuff back when all that came out, so I had like records that sounded like a dial-up modem when you listen to the actual tone, but they just the computer read the tone and manipulated the record, so you could scratch with records, but it was all the music on your computer.
That's cool.
Now that's really common. Like Serato has Serato Scratch,
I get
is
that.
it Itch? Serato
Okay, I get what
Itch
you're
Scratch.
saying.
So like that's a really popular thing. Well, not as popular anymore. A lot of the industry seems like it's moved towards controllers. And there's still some turntables out there, but there's so many controllers now, and you can get controllers for only a couple $100, or you can spend a bunch more money on. There's some nuts ones. It's crazy. Like so do you see your setup staying the same, or is there like any technology you see coming out that you're just kind of like waiting and you're gonna
I'd like to upgrade the technology side of it. I think that would give me a lot more freedom in terms of like remixing the actual like production side live, and like rearranging my tracks and like mixing them differently as I'm going, or like blending and kind of like blending two songs or something. So yeah, there's definitely like room to grow in the technology department. My equipment is honestly, it's pretty old.
Whatever,
like
works,
I'm
right?
on a dinosaur, but but it works for me, and I understand it. But yeah, like new technology is like, some of it's just so over my head. I'm like, what? Like, how are you? What?
Well,
like,
you mentioned stems, like you were talking about having stems, and that's a relatively newer technology
you
where
kinda,
they
like export each part, and then you can do whatever you want with that one like section.
Well, when I heard of that one, I was like, man, that's awesome. Because like if you wanted to do mashups and stuff, it was like trying to turn down the volumes of everything else and kind of mix them, unless you could find those tracks separated. And now that they're specifically formatting songs where the vocals, the bass, the drums, like the lead or whatever other sounds are all separate tracks. It's kind of awesome. That leads to some cool potential.
Yeah, it's cool. It opens up, the possibilities a lot on what you can do, and also a lot more to focus on. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm already focusing on so much, but now I'm like trying to like remix other parts of it. Like I would love to, change my setup and get into like some new technology, but it's gonna like, it would take a lot of like practice. Like I have a whole music library I'd have to like change over to like a new format, so it's a little bit daunting. But I know like when I'm having more time to devote to music full time, I'll probably get like a little bit more into that stuff too.
Now when you record, you record at home?
I do, yeah. I have a studio at my home. It's pretty good. I just have like a little like preamp that I like keep on my desk, and kind of like plug that into my computer when I have a guitar idea. It's like everything's just kind of set up right there.
Right there. You can just on the fly if it just comes to you.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about having stuff set up at home, because like you can leave it. All you gotta do is just flip on some switches and you're ready to go.
Yeah, just turn it on.
Yeah, that's nice.
Pick it back up right where it was. Yeah, no, it definitely is easy. It saves a lot of time. Like
now you mentioned with your pad that you do your sound effects and stuff through looping. Have you ever played around with that? And what do you think of that? Like the loop artists, that shit blows my mind. Actually.
Yeah, looping is cool. It's fun. I feel like I used to do a little bit more with looping. It just gets a little messy. It can.
Right. There's obviously that potential.
Yeah. So I like to like work on having a more polished sound and like a flow, music that's kind of flowing forward in one direction. Sometimes it does sound like I'm using looping, because I use a lot of like,
right,
loops that kind of flow into something else. But really like I use the looping only when I'm like gonna transition into a new song or something, and I have been getting a little bit more creative with that too, like trying to find loops that fit interestingly into another song that I'm writing. And so that's the part that I would love to get better at, and that's why I'm kind of trying to like learn more on CDJs and stuff, and just
Right.
get better at like cutting songs up a little bit and like repiecing them. But then like I mean with the program that I'm using, I think I can only really layer up 2 tracks at once.
Gotcha.
So it's
There's a
for
limitation
now,
there.
yeah, for now. Like, really, I need speaking of new technology, the first piece that I really need is a new computer, a new laptop.
That
'Cause
can make all the difference.
Yeah, because I'm still rocking on my Air, which is awesome and super portable, and it's pretty fast, and it works for what I'm doing. But if I had like a Pro or something, I could probably be doing a lot more, to be honest.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge piece. I mean, that was when I upgraded all my stuff. That was a component, was getting a new computer that could run everything good, because I was always running a program, and then the controller, and yeah, it can be a lot of money wrapped up in that stuff. What's been the biggest obstacle you've had to deal with, like trying to get out there and booking shows and stuff? Because you seem like you're pretty active. So from what I've seen on your social media and stuff, it looks like you're pretty active. You're announcing shows. What's been the hardest part of all that?
Let's get really deep here. I think the biggest obstacle is just yourself. Like,
Oh, yes,
That's-
most definitely. For most
everything
things.
else kind of falls into place, to be honest. But like, I have to take care of myself and love myself first, and be balanced, and like it takes a lot of focus on myself to be able to focus on finishing these projects. Like, you can't work on stuff when you're like unhappy, because it'll kind of reflect in your music. It won't sound like you put a lot of effort into it. So like, it's really a balance. The obstacle is it's not really an obstacle. Everything's kind of like a stepping stones, and I try not to like let things hold me back or let things stop me. I just sort of like try it and try to get it done my way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah,
just-
no,
yeah,
I think people like there's always that fear of failure, right? Like, oh
Yeah.
man, what if they laugh at me?
right.
Right? Like I get that
Yeah.
too, because that's what I was saying. Like, do you get nervous whenever you perform live? I've always had that, like, man,
Well,
what
yeah,
if
you're dropping a new song, it's like, oh god, here we go.
Yeah,
it's like
see?
riding a ride for the first time. It's like, oh god, what's gonna happen?
no?
Hopefully
Do you
this
get like a
sounds
rush
good.
from that? That's
Yeah, I can. I think the more I play a song and the more experience I have with it, the more like rush I get from it. Like playing it for the first time is always a little like choppy. It's always like very like, oh, still learning that one, still fresh. But then like over time, if I play a song enough and it really like starts to jive, like that song just really like, I don't know, puts me in like this place that's like, this is why I do this. Like,
Right.
it just hits the notes
you
just
hit
right.
like that Zen place.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so besides getting over yourself, like, is it what's it been like trying to line up shows? I mean, do you find yourself like the venues that you are playing, are those mostly like dance parties, stuff like that, like EDM shows and stuff like that, or are you playing
Well-
an eclectic range of different?
Yeah, it's a lot of different things, and luckily my music is kind of like it fits in with a lot of different settings, so it's cool. I play like art shows, I've played bars, and I can kind of fit in anywhere, which is awesome. But as far as like booking shows, I mean, usually there's like a period of
An
time
art
while
show,
I'll,
sorry, an art show. I think
art
your
show,
music
yeah,
would
like
fit
art
really good for
gallery.
like.
Yeah,
I can
really
see
in,
that.
like an art gallery lounge setting really nicely. Yeah. But I mean, like a lot of the times I try to keep my calendar open for other events that people are planning and try to be available when they're like, hey, we're putting this show together, we want you on board. And I'm like, yes, it's nice to be able to say like, oh yeah, I'm available, So I don't really do a whole lot to fill up my calendar. I just kind of let things fall into place with that. And like, if I don't have a show coming up, I'll work on something else, like work on my set a little bit. And when I have shows coming up, I'll like practice for those shows and like work on my, muscle memory and stuff and get the like music tight.
So as you've been doing this 5 years, do you see the shows coming more and more frequently now?
It's, in my opinion, I mean, frequency is not as important as like the gravity of the show. Like if it's I'm booking less shows, but they're bigger shows.
Okay.
They're more important. And it's kind of like a strategy thing. I try not to overplay the area so that when I do have a show, I can make it a
Right.
really big special thing and invite people and be like, hey, I'm playing. And, people ask me like, hey, when do you have any shows coming up? And it's nice to be like, well, maybe like I got one coming up next month or something like that. And not be like, oh, this show, and like line up like 5 different like
Right.
shows. They're just like, maybe I'll make one of those. Like, I like to just like have them be really like special. So yeah, it's not really, I don't have a ton. The thing is, like, usually when festival season comes around, which is kind of right now, I get a little bit busier. Next month I have a show like almost every weekend,
Okay.
which is exciting. But I had July off, which was great because I like got to finish my album and then just kind of like take a break, and like now I'm working.
Yeah,
on some
where'd you
new
go?
music.
You went up and stayed by a lake in a tent?
Yeah, I was camping in my parents' backyard. Actually, it was really fun. No, it was nice because I grew up there in that house, so it was nice to just kind of like reconnect with like my childhood energy, and I did some stuff that I really love to do, kayaking. Like enjoyed summer a little bit.
Right.
It was weird actually not having any shows booked for July because I was like, oh wow.
But do you find that happens often? You get so
No.
no.
No,
Well, I'm saying
last summer I was like
you're so busy working that
Yeah.
you don't take that time.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of that. Like,
Yeah.
as much as you're trying to accomplish, you always have to take that time to like recharge and just unwind and not focus on all those things.
Super important to take time off.
Because sometimes
Yeah.
you get your like
get a
best
little, like-
ideas, or you just kind of recharge, right?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's good to like balance as everything. You have to put time into your other hobbies too. It helps like keep your mind in balance. It helps keep your music in balance.
So what else do you do? What are your other hobbies?
Yeah, other than kayaking, I'm super into rollerblading right now. I love rollerblading. Yes, I rollerblade.
Isn't it funny that was
all
like
over.
everywhere for so long?
I know.
And then it's like
I'm
now
bringing
people
it
are like
back.
rollerblades.
Rollerblade,
Like you never
rollerblade.
see anybody on skates or rollerblades anymore unless you go
Except
to a
for me.
rink.
Well, that's actually what happened. My friend Lizzie was having a birthday party, and she was like, "We're gonna, go out. We're gonna go to this roller rink." And and I had so much fun at the roller rink. Literally the next day, I went out and bought rollerblades.
I
was
got
like, forgot
rollerblades
how much I
in
love
my
this.
garage right now.
You should get on them, man.
I used to live in a trailer park, and I couldn't, and I did deliveries, and I had this big
nice.
box truck,
Yeah.
and I wasn't allowed to park it like in my driveway and stuff, right?
So you
No
park
commercial
your car
vehicles.
and
So
rollerblade?
I would park it down the street in a parking lot, and yeah, I would bring my rollerblades to work, and then I would rollerblade home, and I'd rollerblade in the morning to the truck, and then
Yeah, that's totally what I do. Sometimes I have to work downtown Ann Arbor, and it's like really hard to park there. So I have like my out of the town parking spot that's always like open and free, and then I just put my rollerblades on and roller
just
skate
skate.
to work. It's like super
it
easy.
used to be. I used to skateboard a lot more, but then
Oh yeah, I like skateboarding, but it's dangerous, man. I
is-
fall
it
a lot.
can be
I don't
dangerous.
have good balance.
well, that's
Rollerblades are just they come way more naturally to me. So yeah, I like adventure sports.
Adventure sports?
I like snowboarding and rock
All right.
climbing, being outside and just.
Yeah, I'm not climbing any
walking.
rocks
I like
right now.
Hiking and walking. Well, climbing.
we
yes.
do backpacking. My son and I
Yeah.
will go backpacking. Used to snowboard a lot, skateboarded a lot before I was this felt figure. But no, yeah, I've always been in that stuff. I really wish I could wingsuit fly like
Oh,
one
man,
time
that would
before
be
I go.
fun.
Would
Yeah,
be
I like-
amazing.
I like thrill sports like that too. Like I've been skydiving. That's really
I see. I've never done skydiving, and to like do the wingsuit. I mean, technically, you're supposed to do like 200 skydives
really?
before you can like start doing the wingsuit.
Yeah, I mean that stuff is pretty dangerous if you think about it.
yeah.
You're like flying through the air, you're
I
gonna
know, but it
land
looks so
somewhere.
awesome.
Like, yeah, you gotta.
I mean, that feeling of being able to like kind
That
of
would be
fly.
cool.
Yeah, it would be sweet. What would you ever go surfing?
Yeah. I'd like to try it. I
that.
probably wouldn't be super good at it because I feel like it's more closer to like skateboarding than like I'm into wakeboarding,
Into wakeboarding?
but
Okay.
like having
Never
your
wakeboarded,
feet
always wanted
not
to.
strapped into something is like challenging because like when my feet are strapped in, I have a lot more control.
Control, but yeah, it feels
And
like
if
it's
I'm
more like a part of
standing
you.
on it, I'm just sort of balancing and like I'm not great at balancing.
That's what I always liked about skateboarding was the amount of like technical skill of like for one
Yeah.
you're
You have to like be
controlling
one with
yourself,
the
but then
board.
but then you have to control this board and manipulate it. And,
Oh, yeah.
like to see some of the tricks. Like I'm always liking and
Oh yeah.
posting skateboard videos and stuff like.
No, I love that. I love watching skateboard videos. I actually was thinking it would be fun to like get some like footage of some bunch of skateboarding and like put a music video together with that. Like that's definitely like one of my goals eventually. Put a little skating video clip together.
That'd be awesome.
Not me
Like-
skating, unless I'm. On my
but it's crazy, and it's just I've always
Slow motion kick flips.
like so much awe for the tricks that people can pull off.
Totally.
Like it's crazy, but yeah, I've always been into that kind of stuff too, and I got into like paintball, and now I'm into fishing. My son was just bugging me about paintballing. He worked last week for the first time in his life. He worked with my dad tearing down and rebuilding some decks, and he's got some money now. He's got like, yeah, I got all this money. I got $200, Dad. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do. He thinks he's hot shit.
How old is he?
So he's 15.
Oh,
so he thinks
$200 is a lot of money.
yeah,
When you're
15,
You
right?
think you
But
could
so
do
now he's like, oh, I'm gonna go buy a paintball gun. I'm gonna buy a couple paintball guns. I'm like, whoa, kid, easy here.
Oh man.
Like the cheapest paintball.
The
guns,
idea of playing paintball sounds fun, but I'd probably just hide.
Have you never done
I
it?
don't want to get shot. I did it once, like back in the day, but I think I was just hiding behind a tree the whole time.
See, that's one of the things like I wish I would have gotten into sooner in life. Like I wish there's quite a few things like backpacking. I wish I would have done more when I was a kid. Like we always went camping and stuff. Like the backpacking part's really fun.
Yeah.
We started off with a tent. Now we got hammocks. We got like a whole
nice.
hammock tent system thing going on.
Nice, that's fun.
But then the paintball, man, I got into that. Like I don't know. I think he was like 4 years old or something. I don't even remember why. Like I was at Walmart or something and ended up in the sporting good aisle and was like, you know what, I'm gonna get a fucking paintball gun. So I bought a paintball gun and sent pictures of it to my buddies, and they were all like, yeah, let's go play paintball.
Pretty badass, really.
Man, the places that so there's this place in Michigan, like south of Ann Arbor, in Pinckney. And it's called Hell Survivors.
I know, yeah. I grew up over there. I know what you're talking about.
Insane.
Yeah, they get really
like thousands of people show up. It's like being in like a crazy war. And it was funny. My buddy came with us when we went the first time, and after we got done, he was just like, "Thanks so much for taking. This is fucking amazing. Like,
nice.
Thanks so much." And so my son, he wants to go there. I've been there a couple times, and now he's all about it. He's like, "Oh, Dad, we're going to Pinckney, right?" I'm like,
Yeah, paintball's really big out there.
Just you pass school this year, and then we'll go to Pinckney, because he wants to do that stuff. He's got Nerf guns and stuff. He just bought a new one yesterday that he's been shooting me with.
A Nerf gun.
Yeah, this one shoots like little Nerf balls. Actually, it stings a decent amount. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So what is the Lift Us Up preview that you gave me? Is this off the new one?
Oh no, that's brand new. I just worked on that yesterday. Yeah, I just put this together yesterday. So like usually they say like, okay, don't play like a preview of something before it's done, but I try not to like let people tell me what to do all the time. So you can go ahead and play it. It's a work in progress preview. It's going to be pretty rough. Like these are just kind of my raw ideas.
Okay.
But I figured it'd be fun to share something like brand spanking new that is fresh. This is probably going to be like incorporated into the August shows that I'm playing.
Okay. What do you find inspires you? Like what like is there any one thing that you can go to? You're like, man, I think
people inspire me. Different people, friends. Yeah, I get inspiration from like just life and what's happening. And this song, so it's called Lift Us Up. The lyrics are love will lift us up, love will lift us up again. And it's a really pretty and like meditative and like peaceful song. Actually, I'm working on this. This is a piece I'm working on for my friend Meg. I told her I would like make a song for her because she drew me the little like anime cartoon character of the Tetra thing that I use on my promos. Super awesome. I freaking love it. She did such a good. She's a great artist. If you guys will check out Megan Stoker, really really good artist. Different mediums, but she's awesome. So I wanted to put a song together for her, and we hung out on Friday actually. And they're in town. She lives in Arizona, so she's in town. Right. She was in town, so we hung out on Friday, got to hang out, and then like Saturday, I woke up and like felt really like I don't know. I just was like, there's a song in there. I want to like get it out. So I like worked on this song, and then like I was listening to it, and she was telling me that her friend actually got into like a pretty bad car accident. And she texted me this morning and actually said her friend didn't make it. And I was like listening to this song on the way here, and I was just like, man, like this is your song. Like this one's for you. Like it's just, I could just tell. Like it was just the vibe. It was like, man.
What do you usually start with? Like does it start with the guitar most times, or?
No, I put the guitar in a little bit later. I don't know. Usually maybe like I'll have to like start some things and then mute them and then start some other things and then kind of go from there. So usually like maybe drums is a good place to start. I like percussion and drums a lot.
Okay.
So maybe start with that and then get like some like textures going, like maybe like a stringed instrument or a keyboard or something. Like I use like electric pianos a lot. I really like those. Yeah, nice like mellow, groovy, jazzy sound.
Right.
That kind of fits well with like the instrumental like. It's more like a tribal sound, like the kalimbas and like the like. I use a lot of like. Ethnic instruments, different things, give it like a world sound, and then pull it in with like the electric piano. I think that sounds really cool together.
No, it's definitely
guitar and vocals usually comes in like later.
Those are the I can see the vocals. Like I'm always curious. Like for me, like if I ever tried to write stuff, I would have to have the music. I think to kind of like bring the feeling out of me to do the vocal part. If I could sing, but I can't.
Yeah,
I play harmonica a little bit.
You gotta vocals are fun because you can kind of fit them in anywhere. So if you have just like a couple of words that you can say, you can kind of like figure out where they fit and then like mess around with that, and that's always like pretty easy.
Do you ever feel like with the guitar, you're just like you're singing through the guitar?
Oh, totally. That's exactly what I do. Sometimes like some of my songs have lyrics, but I'm not singing them, I'm playing them.
Right.
So like they're there still, like I'm singing them in my head, but playing them, that's where like a lot of that emotion comes
That's
through.
always been like what I've loved about guitar. Just
it's
like
very expressive.
You see people or just having songs where you can just feel the emotion.
Totally.
Especially like I used to joke with my buddy all the time. I was like, if I was ever in a band, I just want to be the guitar solo guy. That's all I want to do. That's my only purpose there is just to fucking just wail and do the guitar solo. Yeah, just to shred it, just put it all out there in the guitar like that. Because there's so many examples of just that awesome, and that's what could see when you were performing. It just looks like you're just feeling the vibe and just going with it.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
It's cool. Like I feel like some parts really have room. Well, and that's when I'm producing my music, I usually like leave room for the lead because obviously that's going to be the guitar in there. If there's too much lead and then you try to put guitar with it, it's like there's too many like
too much going on,
pulling your attention. So you have the lead, but then like I try to have a good balance of like rhythm, like playing rhythm guitar, and then like switching into like the lead part, the melody, like solo part.
Right.
Well, yeah.
How do you
I'm not very good at shredding, to be honest.
No?
I just sort of like play in patterns and like slide in patterns and stuff like that. I can't shred it, bro.
How? But you could if you. Look, I can't play
fingers aren't
guitar
that
at
fast,
all.
man.
I'm not talking about like melting your face off the solos, like
yeah, no,
but
I
just
can-
like songs that
I can really make you feel those notes.
Yeah,
but that's the thing is I'm
that's
sort of like a
the
less
thing
is
I
more
love.
notes. Like you'll hear that note because like that was my intention.
Like I've gotten more into like blues and stuff in my older years just because of the like the emotion behind it and stuff. Or like one album I can think of is shit, now I can't think of it. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Stadium Arcadium.
No.
Just because Frusciante on that one just like started just letting go and just doing these like super emotional solos at the ends of the songs and stuff, and it was just like, man, I love that.
Nice.
Oh man, like you get the goosebumps and shit.
Yeah.
Like that part I love, and that's what I love from music. And I mean, it's cool that you get to be able to create something that's emotional for you and that has something that
Totally.
brings and elicits an emotion in someone else. Like is that the best part, or like what do you think brings you more joy? The fact that you're creating this and you're putting it out there, or the fact that people are receiving it?
I mean, I love like hearing how people are affected by my music, or just like somebody like, oh man, your music made me feel this, your music made me feel that. That is definitely a very satisfying part of it. I would still make the music if nobody was listening to it, so it does still bring me joy, but it's very like exciting that other people like feel something from it too. I don't know which is more fulfilling. They're both.
Yeah.
It's both awesome.
It was. I mean, that was a cool part of DJing, was just like controlling the mood of the room and
Totally.
seeing how you could shift it. There was a lot of other frustrating things too, like people requesting songs and acting like you should have every song ever made.
Yeah.
That part was always tough to deal with. What any crazy show stories? Like, what's the craziest show you've ever done?
Crazy show.
Like nothing ever crazy going on.
Uh, I don't know. Maybe this one show I did, Barnyard Boogie, that was pretty wild. Um, there was like 7 stages and just like huge, big like underground rave thing out there by Chicago, and just like huge crowd and people like all over the place, and just like stages like tucked in everywhere. That was pretty wild.
Pretty
I guess.
wild.
Yeah.
Wild times. How far is the farthest you ever gone to travel? Like, how far have you traveled for a show?
Within the Tetra project, I played in Florida. That was
Really?
probably the farthest place I played. Yeah. Did a festival called Zen Awakening Festival a couple years ago.
Awesome.
And another one called Mind, Body, Soul. So sometimes I travel down to Florida.
Okay.
And then like outside of the Tetra project, I actually got to go to Costa Rica one time with a church group and like be like percussion, play music down there in Costa Rica. So I did
How
a
was
little
Costa
tour of
Rica?
Costa Rica. Oh, it was the best.
Really?
It was, like, my
how
favorite place.
old were you when this all that happened?
I think I was like 15, 16, and I was like down there like playing djembe and like doing puppets and stuff with this like church group, and we were like touring around. But yeah, the music was fun. It was all.
Now, is that so? Like, you brought up the church group. Like, is that a part of the music thing, or I mean?
I mean that's part of like where I started, and I think it does still kind of correlate because like okay, so I was like kind of in like a worship leader situation, growing up when I was learning how to play acoustic. Kind of took a break, went to college, discovered electronic music and just like energy without like, so you sort of still have the spiritual side of it, without the like religious tie,
Right.
but definitely still like a spiritual like worship leader, quote unquote. I mean, I would say it's something that I've been doing, it's something that I keep doing, something I'll probably always do, is just like that sort of like leading of your energy into like lifting your spirit up, and like it's I think it's a good intention,
Okay.
playing music with a good intention.
After releasing this album, what's next? What is the big focus? Are you like, how long in between do you go
So
projects? Do you like already have stuff you're already working on that could potentially be another one, or like do you take like certain
take some time to just like let some new music happen. So before I made just that song we just listened to, I had like another exercise that I kind of put together. It was like basically a full song, but it was more of like an exercise just to get back into production. So other than like my upcoming August shows, which are pretty much already set, I'm gonna probably be planning my next event. I do an event called Future Dream. So this is going to be the third year for Future Dream.
Okay. That you put on.
Yes, I host the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I present the show, put the lineup together, put all the art together, and host it. And so I'll probably be focusing on that. It takes a lot of time to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how hard is that? Like getting
it
other
takes months,
people
months,
to
months to put it together. You got
commit
so
to it too.
basically, I'm in the stage right now where I'm like asking if people are available on the date that I picked, trying to like see and feel out like what the lineup will be like. So, and I have like, people that I've already like confirmed with. I'm like, put this date in your calendar. You're gonna be there,
Okay.
And then like just trying to see. The thing about putting events together is, be on top of stuff, reach out to people, and like try to make your ideas happen, and be super conscious about your budget. Do not spend money on anything that you don't absolutely need, right up front. And then sort of just let things fall into place, and don't have too much like control over like we need this, we need that, like whatever happens, just let it be and let the magic kind of like come in together by itself. And that's I think what's made my Future Dream events in the past really special, is just like bringing the right people and then just kind of letting it happen.
And where do you end up playing these at? Like, what kind of venue?
The first year we did Future Dream, it was like a camp out at this little private property. They had like a stage on their property, and it was a little camping festival, like 200 or less people.
I'm just like picturing just a stage in the middle of a field, like in the middle of nowhere.
It was cool. The guy had a cool like little amphitheater in his yard, and like a really nice stage built on it, and like an art barn. So they had like, we actually had 2 stages. There was like the stage that we set up inside their art barn, which was really cool for like nighttime and like people chilling, trying to be dry at night.
Right.
And then we had like kind of like an open field like jam stage. It was more of an open field, but it wasn't like a huge field. It was like a big yard.
Now with that, how scary was weather for that one?
The weather was all right. It was a little
I mean,
rainy
but
on the first
leading
day.
up to it, do you find yourself like checking the weather, like,
Kinda, yeah. I mean, we did do it on the west side. It was in South Haven, so you know the weather's gonna get bad out there. There's always crazy storms on the west side. I know that. So we did it at South Haven at Waxwing Studios the first year, and then last year we tried to do the camping festival again, but it didn't come together, and I had to actually postpone it. It just kind of ran out of time to plan it well.
right?
And out of respect for everybody, I don't like to throw a shit show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to be respected as an artist. I would be mad if somebody invited me to like a thing that wasn't like set up properly. Okay, so we postponed it, and I
If
was
it's half-assed, don't
I was
invite
kind
you.
of bummed. Yeah, I was bummed. I was like, man, I really hope we get it to go. And then like, people kept asking me about like, we're still interested, we still want to do it, and I was like, all right, cool. So we set it up, and we did it at Tangent Gallery last year in December. It ended up being just a 1-day event with the 2 stages, kind of like a longer event, pretty full lineup for like a one-night thing. And that event was awesome. It was so fun. We had like the whole Tangent Gallery just had art and like installations everywhere, and just like the music, both stages going all night, and everything went really smooth. I usually plan my events to like raise some money for charity.
Okay.
So that one we raised money for Warm the Children fund, basically like supplying like coats and warm clothes for children who need them in Michigan. Like, it's really cold here.
It gets cold.
And then the first year we actually did one for like it's the Great Lakes Alliance, so we kind of raised money to like donate to like a group who keeps the Great Lakes like cleans the beaches, and like, you know, hires people to like maintain that and water and stuff. So this year I had kind of a different idea. I'm gonna try it out and see what people think about it. I think I want to have like the artists on the lineup pick a charity that they want to raise money for.
So like,
so
okay.
there will be like a couple different charities that we're all kind of like trying to raise money for, and we'll kind of like,
I think that's a cool idea, right? So
yeah.
It gives a little bit more of like, you know, you guys pick one,
Mm-hmm.
maybe their fan base is more in line, maybe they know someone in their personal life that's going through something,
Yeah,
or has
exactly.
gone through, and there's
Yeah.
a charity related to that. Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, so, you know, trying that out. And there's still kind of up in the air where the venue's going to be, so we'll have that announcement when it all comes together, but it could be in like one or a couple places. So it's exciting. I try to like plan it a little bit bigger, a little bit better every year, and it's awesome because I feel like doing music, I have a lot of great connections, people like artists and VJs, visual artists,
Yep.
people like, I mean, it's great when you just like, it
Do you
feels
see-
so
that-
good to set up an event where everybody can just bring their art and post it, and like it just makes this like beautiful event.
Is the VJ thing still going? Like,
Oh, it's getting better.
is it because I know for a little
They
bit
can
there was
do
like
so much cool stuff.
there was like the video DJ thing happening for a little
Right.
bit, and then it didn't. I haven't heard as much about it lately as it
So
was
when you're
before.
thinking
Like,
VJ, are you thinking like people mixing music videos together?
well,
'Cause
that
it's
was like
definitely
the
evolved a lot.
right, and I would expect it has.
It's like live graphic manipulation.
Okay.
It's crazy what they can do if you think like Photoshop, you have a bunch of different layers and like how you can manipulate each layer in the picture. That's basically what they're doing, but like real time like video,
Right.
you know, display, and like really nice beautiful graphics, and like you can sort of like, it's basically like a loop of a video that's like looping, and you sort of manipulate.
Now, are they
it as
also
it goes.
playing music to that, or do they do like the visuals while someone else is doing the music?
Yeah, usually the
nowadays?
visual artist is not really in control of the music. They're just kind of following it.
Gotcha.
But I think some people do both. Like, I'm pretty sure Spangel does the music, and he's also doing the visuals too, which is why his shows are so weird.
Oh man,
he's
the
trying to do a
craziest
lot
one.
up there.
I saw System of a Down when I saw them at Ozfest a long ass time ago.
Oh,
They had some crazy visuals. Like a lot of bands will go up and
Yeah.
they'll just have like their logo or something, or, you know,
Right.
like a couple different things change. Theirs was some bizarre shit.
Yeah,
like Deer
I
Dance. I
bet.
think that was like running through the woods and stuff, all like frantic, and yeah, it was crazy.
Oh man,
But so that's hit. We hit an hour there.
cool.
I want to ask you, what recently has just made you say, what the fuck? What's been your what the fuck moment recently? You ever get those just like, what the
I honestly had a really fucking weird dream the other day. I woke up, I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, I don't know, my dreams are usually pretty, like, consistent, but every now and then you get some weird shit going and you're just like, what the fuck? So that's really it. I mean, reality is pretty crazy. We live in a
It
weird
is crazy.
place. Things are getting very weird. I try to just you know, focus my energy on where I want to see. Like, I try not to, I've checked the news, but I try not to give it too much.
Too much?
Energy, I try to just, like,
It's hard.
live my life,
There's
be
a
uplifting.
lot of negative shit out there.
Try to just, like, spend time with people. I like to have, like, time with people, time with myself. Try not to focus on
What the fuck happened
Don't
yesterday?
put your energy into that crazy shit. Like, don't even participate in it,
I hear you. My what the fuck was yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Recently I said what the fuck. So my son is 15 and he likes to lie quite a bit and he does some sneaky stuff, right? So like a few weeks ago we got in some trouble. We were like, you're not staying home alone anymore. You're going to someone's house during the summer, right? So then he started working with my dad this last week, and so he's been coming home before any of us get home, and it's like, okay, you can watch TV, make yourself some lunch, whatever. And it's so stupid, but last night my girlfriend's going through the cupboard and she sees that there's this bag of cookies that's like almost gone. And we had them. They were like these big graham cracker cookies with chocolate on one side, and we have marshmallows, and we were going to go have a fire and make s'mores. And that's what they were for. And they're almost, and I had a couple, I'm not going to lie. Like, I ate a few of them, right? But the last time I ate any, it was down to like half. Now it's down to like only three left, right?
Oh, shit.
And she's like, Jay, did you eat these? And I'm, no, I didn't eat these. Dylan, did you eat these? No, I didn't eat them. Okay, and this is how bad things have gotten. We have a security camera in our
no.
in our living room area. It sees, basically, it's right by the door wall. It sees the front door. It sees the back door. So it sees the main entrances to my home. But then also it's to watch him. And and he's like, I didn't eat those. I didn't eat those. Check the camera. You can go check the camera. I didn't eat them. Check the camera. And I'm like, all right, I'm telling you right now, if I check this camera and I see, what do you think's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. I mean, I did have one, but nothing. I mean, and we're like, wait, you just told us you didn't. And like, so the what the fuck for me is we've been going through this so much, and he always wants to bring up like, you guys will never let me, I can't go to my friend's house. You won't let me leave the street. I can't go to my friend's house because I can't trust you in my own house. Well, you never know if you don't try. You guys don't ever try. So like last night, it was just like, what the fuck, man? We keep trying. And it's like, cookies. You lied about stupid cookies. I'm not mad about the cookies. I'm mad about you lying.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was what the fuck. Anyway,
Kids.
we can wrap this up. This is the Get Up. Again, Kim, Tetra Music Project. What are your sites? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to announce?
Yeah, check out, coming up, I have 2 awesome shows lined up. Great Lakes Flow Festival, that's the first weekend of August. So up there in Salt River Acres. It's going to be an awesome festival for, like, flow arts, a bunch of music. I'm playing on Saturday there. And then right after that will be, it's the Marvelous Detroit Art Emporium featuring Chris Dyer. He's coming to paint a live mural at the Tangent Gallery, so that's August 17th.
Where's the Tangent Gallery at?
Tangent Gallery, it's in Detroit, off of like Milwaukee Street.
All right, cool. I work downtown.
Right, kind of by the Russell.
Okay.
And really awesome spot. The Tangent Gallery is sweet, and they're gonna really have it decked out for this event. They're bringing in like a portable half pipe. There's gonna be vendors all over, outside stage, a bunch of my friends on the lineup. It's gonna be a really fun all day event. Check out Marvelous Detroit Art Emporium, August 17th. So yeah, that's where I'll be.
Excellent. Great. Well, again, thank you very much for coming out and talking to me.
Thanks for having me.
And no doubt. Look forward to seeing what else you're doing next. And that's the Get Up. Thanks for listening.
Their collective spirit.
Thanks for listening to The Get Up. Make sure to check out thegetupshow.com for more information on this episode's guests. While you're there, check out other episodes, leave a comment, or if you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, shoot an email to contact@thegetupshow.com. Don't forget to follow, like, and share on Facebook at The Get Up Show Podcast. Follow on Instagram and Twitter at The Get Up Show, and subscribe to The Get Up YouTube channel. The Get Up is available on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, YouTube, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts.